everybody, this is the McClix, and today we will be talking about the ROC State Tournament that I recently attended, and we'll just talk about the team I played, what I faced, some general things I ran into, and some things to look out for if you play in the next weekend or any other meta tournament. So we'll get started. So this was in Fort Collins, Colorado, and I believe there was roughly around 20, maybe 25. I don't think it hit 30. So, but so yeah, there was quite a few players there, quite a few good players there, and it was a great time. Everybody there was really chill and relaxed, and it was a really good environment. I really enjoyed it, and the people who put it on did a great job as well. And so we'll just go into the team that I chose, and then some of the teams that I faced, and some other figures that I saw that was maybe surprising to me or did really well. And then we'll just talk about the maps that I used as well, and generally just overall how I played my team, in case you guys have any questions on exactly how to play it, or if you've never played it before, so that you can be prepared. So the first thing that, before we talk about my team, that I want to really emphasize is practicing for a tournament before you go there. So I usually can only play once a week, or maybe once every 2 weeks at an actual local gaming store. But recently, and you'll see the other videos that I talked about, I'm trying to push this as hard as I can to everybody, is that there is a new website called Roll20, and it's an app that you can use. It's an online based app, and doesn't really require much. You just sign in. It's totally free to use, and it's pretty much just playing Hero. It'll play any type of board game that you want, really, or tabletop game. It's just how you decide to use it. So for HeroClix, really, it's you can watch the tutorial video on it, and it'll show you pretty much how to use it and how to set it up. And you just, import maps, import pictures of the figures, pull up HC Realms, use that as a general overview to see what clicks and everything and what the figures do, or you can actually have, if you have the figures in real life, you can use that as well. And then it has a nice little roll dice mechanic as well. So that app, I really would probably say that helped me out tremendously to practice for this tournament, and how I did so well at the tournament is also. So I'd really emphasize that practicing before a tournament, whether you can make it to your local gaming store, to a friend's house or whatever to practice, definitely make sure you do that, so that when it comes time for the tournament, then you know exactly what to do. You're not making as many mistakes, and it'll be smooth for you. And for the most part, that's how it went for me. So practice all the time that you can. If you're really serious and you want to do well, just practice as much as you can. I was practicing about 2 or 3 weeks before the tournament started. I had my teams chose about 3 weeks out, another team about a week out, but I decided to go with my original team because I practiced with it so much. Yeah, so we'll go right into the team that I chose, and then I'll let you know exactly how, for the most part that I can remember, how the matches went and what I did with my team. So my team was 297 points. So originally what happened was, so this was the main team I practiced with was Jakeem, was Merc with a mouth, Deadpool, Haha Joker, the Atom, the Serpent Punisher Pog, which is amazing, the Supreme Intelligence, which was on Jakeem, and I think I had, so my original team was the Shield level 7 as well as the Cosmics, or the Spider-Man ID card, with the Civil War Spider-Man at 80 points, the Cosmic Spider-Man, Nick Fury for Shield level 7, and the Hulk at 100 points from Nick Fury. And then I also originally, what I was practicing with for three weeks and up until the day of the tournament, didn't realize I was also playing with a symbiote. And for whatever reason, it just slipped my mind totally. You can't play with, and the judge reminded me of this, you can't play a resource and an object on the same team. So that team was originally 298 points. So I was like, crap, well, usually when I go to a tournament, and I would highly recommend, if you guys can, bring a second team or something to substitute in case you mess up. So I had my figures, but I didn't have the cards to kind of maybe switch it around and whatnot. So I had a buddy of mine, he let me use the Flash ID, and then somebody had the uncommon Flash that I wanted to try and use as well. It's the Save President Flash that you can save a character in case he gets hit or something. So took the symbiote off and then put on the Flash, and then everything was good. Luckily that happened before the tournament started, because the judge was pretty good about reviewing the teams before everything started, so it didn't cause anything at all. And so that was my team, and I don't have the Flash and the Flash ID with me, obviously, because I borrowed those things. But so that was my team, and I knew going into this team, I think I played in one other ROC State tournament maybe a couple years ago, and that's when I first started playing. So, and I didn't do really well. So I knew with the WizKids Open that I attended in late last year, I got second place, and I practiced for that one, and I wanted to make sure I did well because there was a lot of prize selection there that I wanted. So, I practiced, and I brought a strong team that, that statistically does well in these meta tournaments. And you might as well, I mean, if you've been playing a lot, we'll just go into this real quick. So there's a certain thing on the forums and whatnot of HeroClix, and people talk about it all the time, is they hate seeing the same teams. And yeah, I understand that. I agree completely with that. I want to see new things, and at this tournament there were new things. There wasn't always just Jakeem or Goblin King, what a lot of the successful teams have been winning with lately. But overall, I feel that Jakeem is just so strong, and if he's that good, I'm going to play him. And if I want to do well at a tournament that I want to win, then I'm going to bring something that I know does well in tournaments in the past and that I feel comfortable with playing. So I brought the Jakeem and a few other things that you would probably see on strong teams as well. And a team like this is kind of pricey, but another thing is, if you use the trade forums on Facebook or on HC Realms and trade with people, you can get a lot of these things. I think I started with, just to point out real quick, I started with a few, like a super rare and like 2 super rares and a rare, and I eventually built up. I traded for a lot of these things. None of these things that you see here did I ever buy. Let me double check and make sure. I don't think I bought anything. No. Actually, yeah, I bought the Supreme Intelligence when it first came out, so I will say that. But I haven't used it until recently. But everything else that you see on here, I traded for, or won. I won the Serpent Punisher, I won the Spider-Man ID, I won this in a draft, and I won this, I think, when Civil War came out, or I got it, that was an event, so I guess technically I bought that. But everything else, these other expensive pieces, I traded for. So don't think that just because you see a pricey team that you have to buy it. If you work hard and you do some good trades and learn the values and learn about what people want, and maybe just throw something out there that somebody's looking for, then you will eventually, you can build up value. And that goes for anything too. So be what's the word I'm looking for? Be active on the trade forums and everything, whether it be HC Realms or Facebook group. always look and see what people are trading for. Look what people want. Maybe look for something that somebody wants. Like sometimes randomly, I want something old. Like right now, I'm looking for an old Thanos that I want, and those figures aren't going to be as high as some of the meta pieces right now, like Jakeem. So if you can find a piece like that somebody wants, and somebody else has something new, then you can trade for those things. So ultimately, just when you see an expensive team, don't just think that somebody bought those things, because half the time, and for me, most of this stuff right here I traded for. So you can start with a few things like I did, a few super rares and rare, and build that up. If you work hard enough, you can build that up in value, get figures, trade it again, get higher value figures, trade it again, get higher value figures. Alright, so that's how I got this team for the most part. So I just want to point that out to you guys. Oh, there's the Flash ID card, sorry. So this was my team. I knew going into the tournament, so you've got to do some research before your tournaments and everything, what you're going to probably see for the most part. I knew I was going to see Jakeems. I knew I was going to see Colossal Retaliators. I knew I was going to see definitely the Nick Fury Collins and the Cosmic Spider-Man Collins for sure, and maybe a Haha Joker. So I chose this team. When I built the team, I knew I wanted Jakeem on there for sure, and I knew I wanted either an equipment piece or the resource attached to him, because it just gives him more value. And at 140 points, you want to try and minimize your points as low as you can while maximizing the effectiveness of the figure. So I opted for the 12-point resource over the equipment, and I highly recommend, if you guys do play with Jakeem and a resource or equipment, I'm pushing you always towards the resource on him instead of an equipment, and definitely not both. But if you don't have the resource, then use the equipment, of course. But if you have the options, go for the resource only on Jakeem. There's no need to spend an extra 25 points to have him have so much more when you can effectively build a better team, support, and utility with the extra 25 points, because all those points, they are very important. Try to get as much bang for your buck on it. So then I knew, after I chose these two, I knew I wanted the Collins, of course, the two Collins, and I knew I wanted a Colossal Retaliator for sure. So from there, and I'm just giving you a quick overview of how my thought process of building a team for you guys. So from there, I decided, well, I don't have a lot of points to go off of after that and the ID Collins, so I try to look for pieces that are cheap but you can get the most out of them. And the next thing that came to mind was definitely the Haha Joker. The Haha Joker is just so annoying and takes so long to kill, and he's an amazing support piece. If I can fit this piece on any team, meta team that I can, it will go on it. I played him at 30 points, and I don't even think he ever was KO'd. Maybe somebody got him past his first or his second line, but he was never KO'd. So, and there was some pretty strong teams out here. And if you see this piece on the map, most of the time you don't want to go after him, because that's 30 points for 16 clicks or something like that. Let's see here. Let me double check to remember. 6. So it's 30 points for 18 clicks of life, and that's not including the healing and the damaging, so potentially more than that. So my recommendation for this piece, if you're playing with him, wonderful, because he is going to help out so much with all of the different things you can do. And if you're playing against him, I would try and avoid him at all costs if you can, but otherwise try and get some points off of him. So from there, I decided, alright, I've got an amazing piece for a cheap amount, and he does a lot. So from there, then I was like, well, I need another piece that I can get a lot of effectiveness out of with low cost points. So then I went with Merc with a Mouth, who is just amazing. This guy, for what he does and the amount of clicks he has, I think he has 8 clicks for 70 points, is just another amazing piece. And we'll go over a little bit more later on what I did with him and how he helped out. And then finally, I decided to choose the Serpent Punisher for the last 15 or so roughly points. And this is probably my favorite cheap piece right now. It was a toss-up between the Serpent Punisher, the Serpent Spider-Man, or Betty Brant, which I've talked about in previous videos, who's just amazing. Originally, it was going to be Betty Brant because of what she offers with her Perplex, her support, and her reducing the movement of flyers. I believe that's what she does. And it was like really going to take Betty Brant, but then I decided, you know what, I like the Serpent Punisher. 15 points for sidestep, energy shield deflection, indom, range combat expert, and 6 range, 11 attack, 17 defense, and 2 damage. And I was like, you know what, no, I've got to run this guy for what he does. So this was my team. So pretty much how I built my team for this tournament is I wanted to maximize my effectiveness while reducing or minimizing the points to stack more stuff into it, to push as much as I could. So that's how I really built my team. And, you know, for the most part, this is kind of a copy of other teams. They realize the same thing, is that you can maximize so much, with Jakeem only being 140 points for what he does. I mean, it's a given. And then haha Joker as well. So, but yeah, the Merc with a Mouth, he was amazing for what he did, and then the Serpent Punisher really helped out a lot. I would say the MVP of my team was Merc with a Mouth, though, for sure. Jakeem did a lot, but he put in more. He did a lot more to help me win my matches. So from there, that was the general idea of building my team, and then we'll go into the matches and everything. So after the judge kind of was like, you know, hey, realize that you can't have a resource in an object, I was like, okay, finally got somebody to give me a flash and the uncommon flash. So ended up being, instead of 298 points, it was 297, I believe. So that was my team. And from there, we started matchups. We did 3 rounds of Swiss, and then that was cut to the top 8. And then they did single elimination from there. So my first match I played, and we'll just go over kind of briefly of what happened in each match. So the first match I played was a guy who was running the Dreadpool, the Prime from Deadpool, which is a really good piece. And he was running, I think, the common Green Lantern from the new Elseworlds, who can carry somebody, and then if he rolls a 5 or a 6, then they can be given non-free actions. And he was also running the Chase Green Arrow, the one-armed Green Arrow, and some ID Collins, I believe. Yeah, so that was the first team that I played, and I believe I won map. So the maps that I chose were the Arthur's Castle, the Chemical Plant, and WizKid's Office. The ones that I most played were Chemical Plant and Arthur's Castle. WizKid's Office was just really for if I came up against some crazy like Colossals, like if people stacked a lot of Colossals, or some stuff where they had a lot of range and they could do a lot of things. So I didn't end up using the WizKid's Office at all. So I won map roll. I think we went to the Chemical Plant, and yeah, we went to the Chemical Plant. And from there, we decided, to play. So yeah, I moved up. So I moved up first and positioned correctly. And then, well, that I thought was correct. And then he positioned up. I think he missed a few of his. I think he might have. Yeah, he didn't nail the Green Lantern roll, so he couldn't make any actions. And then I think I maybe tried to hit. It was back and forth, but ultimately I think I got most of his pieces, and he got a few. So that was the first team I played. And then we went on to the next round, which was a guy that I practice with online, and I play against in a lot of tournaments. So we knew each other's teams, so we knew kind of the general strategy of what each other does. and I ended up winning. He was playing a Gertrude team, and with some Colossals and some support pieces, decided to take out his support pieces. That really helped his team, and from there, ultimately, it just kind of shut him down towards the end. But he put up a good fight, so it was a really scary team. And whenever we practiced, it was back and forth. He would win, and I would win. Third round, it was pretty much for the most part, a dual matchup. It was a Jakeem, an Al Jordan, and a Dormammu with some call-ins as well. And it was just a long, drawn-out battle, just back and forth. Us playing, carefully and strategically, trying to figure out exactly what to do next, and using our call-ins effectively. I think I hit a really good shape change roll off of his green arrow call-in, the chase green arrow from the Elseworlds. And I think that almost sealed the game after that. And from there, I ended up winning. And then it was into the top 8, where then I played the gentleman that I played the first round, because he did well in this other 2 rounds. And it was pretty much we ended up playing on Arthur's Castle that time. I won map roll and we changed it up and played on Arthur's Castle, and ended up playing him, and it was pretty much the same kind of thing, moving up, him moving up, him damaging some pieces, me damaging some pieces. Really, my strategy for a team like that was to take out his mobility. So I knew I wanted to get that Green Lantern, that common Green Lantern, out of the picture. That way his mobility on the other 2 pieces would kind of be restricted. So that was my plan and strategy for that overall. And then, so I ended up winning that one. The next match was against the same Jakeem team that I played the second round of the Swiss rounds. And it was pretty much the same thing, a long drawn out battle, and there's not much you can do when you have unless somebody's rolling high or getting some lucky hits, there's not much you can do. It's just going to be back and forth, and it's going to pretty much take up the whole match time. So one on points, it was a really close game. And then after that, it was the final match, and I played against another Dreadpool, Haha Joker, another Al Jordan, which is a really good piece, and it was the Justice League teleporter with all of these different call-ins. It was a pretty good team. So I ended up winning map roll, which helped me out a lot for this last match that I feel, and we went to Arthur's Castle again, which I really like that map. And the reason why I really like that map is predominantly when you see this team, especially with Nick Fury, Cosmic Spider-Man, Merc with a mouth, the Serpent Punisher, and Jakeem. It's overall it is a ranged team. So, and that map really helps for that. So, and it's got a lot of blocking I like. So you can, if you position correctly, you can have some obstructions in the front to block line of fire. So that's a really good map. It's one of my favorites right now. So yeah, I won map roll, and this match I knew that the Dreadpool was going to be a problem, because they would always obviously pick the keyword for Jakeem to make his free attacks, and the Al Jordan I knew would be a problem because he was an issue with the other teams that I faced as well. So I knew for the most part what I wanted to do, and obviously I wasn't going after the Haha Joker, was pretty much take out the other utility piece as quick as I could. So I opted to go and try and take out Al Jordan as quickly as possible. So I moved up, positioned correctly for what I thought, and then he moved up and positioned pretty well. However, he didn't see that I could have line of fire. So what happened was I ended up sidestepping up, and I believe I chose Range Combat Expert, and I want to say Invincible or Shape Change. I can't remember. One of the two. But yeah, beefing up Jakeem a lot, and then taking a shot on Al Jordan. I think I knocked him out in one hit, and then moving this Serpent Punisher up and taking a hit on the Dreadpool, which helped. I think I got him for like 1 or 2 because I think he had Invincible with one of the inspirations that he used on him. And then what I was doing with Merc with a Mouth, for the most part, for all of the games, was trying to get his, and this is how I generally play him, is getting his plot points up as high as you can to effectively either use his ultimate, which I never used, but more for using either his healing, or what helped me out in almost all of my matches was the -2 to your opponent can't modify their combat values. And that's what really helped me out with this piece. You have the Nighthawk Prime, but effectively I feel that Merc with the Deadpool is much better because he has amazing stats throughout his dial. He can heal. He can then use that as well. And he's got regen on his last 2 clicks. So you can regen and then heal up with his free action. So what really helped me out for the most part was not only because of his good stats on this 70-point piece, but also using that -2 to, so you wouldn't have to worry about ESD or Perplex or combat reflexes. And I knew that's a big thing in all the tournaments. You'll see people who have 20, 21 defenses, and I wasn't going to play that game. So I was like, I want Merc with a Mouth, so I don't have to do that. I want a Merc with a Mouth so that I can use a Jakeem who has an 11 attack hit a 17, and I only need to roll a 6 with a prop. I want to make sure that happens. Or your Nick Fury who needs to hit like a 4 to do possibly 6 penetrating damage. So he was definitely the MVP of my tournament for sure. So back to it, I believe what had happened was, I was healing him, getting his plot points up, and then from there, just trying to use him as either a pop shotter, running shot in, or more effectively using his -2 to reduce, making sure that the combat values on my opponent couldn't be increased. So that helped out a lot. So ultimately, I think he called him his Nick Fury, missed Jakeem. I think either I rolled a shape change on him and missed, and then or he either missed twice, I can't remember, but he ended up not hitting Jakeem. And then from there, I think he tried hitting Jakeem again, but missed, or I rolled a shape change. And then, so he was pretty much locked down after that. I think I cleared, and then he cleared, and then I called in my Nick Fury, and I called in, or I chose, or before I did that, I chose the Perplex and Enhancement. And that's one thing I recommend you guys do if you have the option. Choosing Perplex Enhancement while calling Nick Fury in will almost always get him at a 12 attack for possibly 6 penetrating damage if you're attacking the highest point. So that's what I did, and with 2 probs, I think I almost one-shotted, if not, but it took out his Dreadpool. And from there, it was just Haha Joker versus, I think he had an Adam too, and actually he rolled a crit with his Adam and hit like 3 of my pieces, so it actually hit Jakeem. I think it positioned him better, and that's how I was able to one-shot his Dreadpool, because he rolled and I got knocked back, and he rolled a crit and did like 3 damage to a lot of pieces. I retaliated with my Adam and was able to take out his Adam, and then from there it was just a Haha Joker versus my team, and it was pretty much took up the rest of the game was me trying to kill a haha Joker. The Justice League teleporter that he had was getting high up there, so I was kind of worried about that. And so ultimately, though, I was able to finally kill the haha Joker and won the state championship for Colorado. It was a really good. He was a really good player. I think it was his first tournament, and this was like maybe my third or fourth. I can't remember, but I haven't won one until yesterday. So a big tournament like that. So I was really excited and happy, and I was happy for him too because he placed second. I think it was his first tournament, so he did really well. He played. There were a lot of really good players there, and everybody was really cool and relaxed. I needed to borrow something. Somebody let me borrow something. Somebody else needed something, and I let him borrow something. So the environment there was really cool, and overall that was really amazing. The prizes were first place I think got a brick of ADW, and second place got the Dormammu. So it was really cool that they added additional prize support on top of the whatever else came with the maps and the tokens and all of that. So that was really cool. So overall, yeah, that was my experience at the state tournament. And like I said, Merc with the Mouth, he's if I can get him on more teams as well, him and haha Joker, I'll do it. I think he's an amazing piece. I think people should look at him more, and just all of those extra things he can do is just it's amazing. And then these little pogs right here for 15 points. I would highly recommend people look at these. If they have 15, 20 points left and they're trying to figure out what they can squeeze in there, look at these pogs. These are amazing. Just run these. You will not be regretting it at all. And, the Serpent Spider-Man's good with hypersonic, super senses. And then I got the other pogs. I haven't really taken a look at them yet, but the new ones, the 8 pogs, are really good as well. So, and then these things come with blade. They ignore hindering, and they have blades, claws, and fangs. So just an amazing little 15-point piece. Get these, use these, please. So then we'll just talk about really quick some of the teams I saw. Like I said, I was playing against 2 teams that had the Dreadpool. I was playing against another Jakeem with the Dormammu, who's an amazing Colossal Retaliator. He can roll 3 dice as deal breaker trait, which is amazing, and it can't be rerolled. I saw a few teams. There were a few mini Shredder Elite teams. They were using some transporters for them, or some other utility support pieces. So that was really cool, and they did really well too. They made it. I think both of the Shredders teams made it into the top 8. Let's see what somebody was running the Chase Superman from the new Elseworlds. I'm glad I didn't face that, because that piece, from what I heard, is he was one-shotting high point pieces. So look out for that guy. Somebody brought a boxing ring. One of the teams, the Gertrude team that I faced, was running the Invisible Plane. That's another great piece to look for, especially as the terrain, the special terrain, instead of the figure, playing it as a figure itself. So look out for that as well. Yeah, so for the most part, those were the teams that kind of stood out to me and everything. So if you've got a state tournament coming up, and if you're kind of new, just make sure you start practicing before you do it. Either where it's if it's online through Roll20 or other online games you play, to try and do it. If it's at your local gaming store with friends, make sure you practice, because you want to be smooth. It really helped me out a lot, because when I started, I knew it wasn't like there were a few matches where it took me a little bit of time to think exactly what I wanted to do. I mean, as long as you're not stalling, of course, but if you practice more, you're going to be smooth. You're going to know exactly what to do. You start your match, I'm going to choose this and this on Jakeem. I'm going to move him up, do this. I know what I'm doing exactly, and then you play it fast, or he plays smooth. I wouldn't say fast. You got to be careful with that. But for the most part, you'll feel more comfortable with your team, and you'll do really well. So and that's what really helped me out, and I think that's ultimately what helped me win this tournament, was that practicing a lot before. So this was my team. The experience was amazing. We got some cool prizes. A lot of people got I think the top 8 got a lot of cool prizes as well. And yeah, so I just wanted to talk about my experience at the ROC State Champs, and hopefully this helps out. If you have any questions, just comment below or send me a message through Facebook. And if you have anything that you want to add, definitely just let me know, or just post it in the video itself. But thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to have more HeroClix content out in the next couple of weeks. And we're looking forward to the new Thor set coming out, which is going to be exciting. And then if you have a state tournament coming up or anything, good luck. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to let me know. All right, this is McClix. We're signing out, and have a good one. Thanks. Goodbye.